Hi everyone, we've got Tuesday's video for you today. Funny that with it being Tuesday and all. Another roundup, plenty of stuff to get through before we ramp up the preview to Hearts tomorrow when we'll have Scott McDonald and David Walton on the channel. David's always a bit of an afterthought when you've got a guy who's scored so many goals for Celtic. I'm sure he wouldn't take offence to that. It's very dark where I'm recording today. I don't know if that's coming across in the filming at all. I've got my 3 lights working in overtime to try and make this look respectable in the slightest. So yeah, just bear with us. A big thanks to anyone who has subscribed to the channel over the last 24 hours. We are now around 100 people away from making it to 22,000 subs, and of course this is the final day of November. A very happy St Andrew's Day to everyone, by the way. Let's mark that great occasion by getting 67 Hail Hail to 22,000. You know what to do. It's massively appreciated by us all. Okay, the Scottish Cup 4th round draw was made late last night. So late that if you decided you were going to have an early night, you may well have actually missed it altogether. And Celtic were one of the final teams to be brought out, and we were paired with Alloa Athletic away from home. That's the draw there in alphabetical order. Plenty of good ties there, plenty of home draws for the real minnows left in the competition, and plenty for the TV companies to get their teeth into. Now, Alloa are managed by former Rangers captain Barry Ferguson. They sit 6th in Scottish League One right now, after being relegated from the Championship last season. We last faced them in 2016 in the League Cup at Celtic Park when they were managed by Jack Ross. We won that game 2-0, but that doesn't really tell the whole story, because it was 0-0 all the way until the 83rd minute when James Forrest scored the opener. Moussa Dembele added some late gloss in injury time, but it was far from easy that day. Our previous meeting with Alloa in the Scottish Cup was away from home back in 2002 when we beat them 5-0. Now, this game in January, it's currently scheduled for the weekend of January the 22nd, meaning that it will be our first competitive game back after the winter break. The final date and time is to be confirmed. The match will almost certainly be on Premier Sports, and when we know the time and the date, we will of course let you know too. Right, let's get the latest on our double pursuit of some Japanese attacking talent in the January transfer window, starting with Daizen Maeda, the Yokohama F Marinos striker / goal machine. Now, it's been reported that Maeda will cost Celtic only around £3 million. He has scored 22 goals in 35 J-League matches this season, but he will only cost us around about 2/3 of what we paid for Kyogo in the summer. It seems like that deal is going to happen, and barring any late hitches, which, let's be fair, do happen in the world of Celtic transfers, he will be a Celtic player in January at some stage. And the same goes for Reo Hatate. We've talked about him more recently on the channel. He certainly seems likely to join Celtic at the start of January. His current club, Kawasaki Frontale, notice the Frontale, big thanks to whoever it was in the comments that told me that's how you say it. Don't even know if it's correct, but I just believe you all because you're so trustworthy. His club, Kawasaki Frontale, aren't said to be too against him leaving them before the end of his contract. They're not going to keep hold of him, as I predicted last week. That means in theory that he could sign for Celtic at the start of January and even make his debut in the derby match against Rangers on January the 2nd. We've heard murmurings as well, nothing official of course, that Ange has even been chatting to him via an interpreter on Zoom and stuff like that. So it seems like this move is one that's going to happen, and he would certainly be a player who could add something to Celtic, as would Maeda. We're definitely going to touch on these two players in full over the next, weeks and months. I'm going to try and get a bit of a scoop on both of them to find out what they could bring to Celtic, probably starting with Hatate next week. Now, incidentally, the two of them will actually face each other in the final J-League match week on Saturday morning. So if you want to watch the two of them playing against each other, I know obviously only have to watch one game, you can get up very early on Saturday morning. The game kicks off at 5 a.m. Scottish time, so you'll be up early. I don't even know if you'll find a stream, but if you're committed that way, feel free to do it. Staying with Yokohama F Marinos, and one of their first team coaches, who was actually brought to the club by Ange Postecoglou, is about to leave. His name is John Hutchinson, and he hasn't had his contract renewed by the Marinos manager Kevin Muscat. Some people, not me of course, are speculating whether he could be about to rejoin Ange at Celtic. There doesn't really seem to be much space in the Celtic coaching staff right now. We seem quite well set. The chat about Ange bringing in his own men has kind of dissipated, fancy word. But Ange has spoken in recent weeks about wanting to add some people in key positions. We've brought in a head of sports science over the last couple of months, Anton McElhone. I think there's been chat about a head of data being recruited as well. So it's one to keep an eye on. Yesterday, reports emerged that laptop loyal Gavin Strachan had turned down the manager's post at Hartlepool United. They are struggling in the English League 2 at the moment. I think they're 16th in the table. But I found that quite an interesting one, that a club like Hartlepool, who are generally a decent-sized club, would be interested in bringing Gavin Strachan in as their manager, and also that he would turn that down to stay at Celtic. I think it certainly shows that he's committed to what's happening at Celtic and committed to working with Ange. And I feel like Gavin Strachan is going through a bit of a renaissance with the Celtic support. I think the laptop segment of the Christmas advert was genius from all concerned. They took a meme basically that Celtic support have been using for 18 months or however long Strachan has been at the club, and they laughed at themselves. And if there's one thing that people like in general, is when people laugh at themselves, don't take themselves too seriously. So I thought that was great. I think it's great Strachan staying on. Ange clearly rates him and admires him, and he's spoken highly about him in recent weeks. And if he's good enough for Ange, he's good enough for me. But now some very sad news, and it relates to our hero, beginning with a J, Jota, a man who I thought was absolutely perfect, had no flaws at all. I thought he was the greatest person to exist since another J, Jesus, left us all those years ago. I think 2021 to be precise, if that's how it all worked. I thought Jota was perfect, but sadly not. He was asked whether he's a fan of Iron Brew in a recent interview with the Celtic View, and he sadly wasn't. So a wee moment of silence for that, please. He also told us that it only takes around 30 seconds per day to get his hair looking the way it does. Yeah, don't believe that for a second. And rather strangely, kind of completing a hat-trick of strangeness, was asked about his favourite match since coming to Celtic so far. Now, what did he pick? Was it either match against Ferencváros? We won both. Was it Dundee away when he scored those 2 goals? Maybe Motherwell away, Aberdeen away when he scored the winning goal? Nope. He went for a Celtic loss in Real Betis. The reason he gave was that Celtic showed their personality that day, even when they were behind. I suppose I can get behind that a little bit. But the Iron Brew stuff... Last night, some Celtic legends, and I mean legends of the past, reunited at the Hydro in Glasgow to chat about their hoops careers. Now, the poster boys of the event were John Hartson, Chris Sutton and Henrik Larsson, although several other heroes of that team, including manager Martin O'Neill, were also there. Just have a look at that photo posted by Stan Petrov. What a team, eh? And you can see Jackie McNamara there just at the back, sitting next to a rather kind of awkward looking Lubo Moravcik, but just look at the absolute stars in that team. It was apparently a really amazing night. I've heard from so many people that were there in the crowd of about 10,000, I think, at the Hydro, just how amazing a night it was. Gutted I couldn't be there last night. God bless that team. But now we're going to fast forward to the present day and more current matters as we begin building towards the Hearts game on Thursday night. Huge game, etc, etc. We will have the big preview tomorrow. Scott McDonald going to be with us. But one bit of news that I have for you today is that we know that Benny Baningime, the Hearts midfielder, is out of the game with an ankle injury. That is a pretty big blow for the Jambos. He's a guy who's been playing in centre mid / defensive midfield. He's actually played in both of our previous meetings with Hearts already this season and has been really impressive in both games, especially at Tynecastle. So it's a big blow for Hearts and obviously good news for us going into Thursday night. As I say, big preview coming tomorrow. Few bits of other news to do with us that you probably won't care about at all. Me and John and maybe a few other people will be doing the Celtic State of Mind charity weekender, funnily enough, this weekend. Just if you're not aware, it's run by the great team at Celtic State of Mind. It's 24 hours of live Celtic content from podcasts, YouTube channels, websites, Twitter accounts, etc. We've been given an hour slot from noon on Saturday, so we'd love it if you joined us on the Celtic State of Mind channel. Then I'll give you a wee reminder of that the day before on Friday. Also, I'll be in the post-match press conference on Thursday night after the game against Hearts, where I'll be able to ask questions to Ange and hopefully a player as well. So exciting times for the channel. We're back tomorrow with Scott and David building ahead to Hearts. Until then, take care and remember to sub if you've not done it already to get us over that 22k line.